Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being with us tonight. I'd like to just start by introducing myself. My name is Mariam El-Samni, and I work with Dunia Finance. I've had a few people ask me, what's Dunia and what are you guys doing? So I'll just take 2 minutes to explain to you who Dunia is. Dunia is really a financial services company that was set up in the UAE about 3.5 years ago. And we're a strategic partnership between Mubadala of Abu Dhabi, which is the investment arm of the government of Abu Dhabi, and Temasek Holdings of Singapore, which is the investment arm of the government of Singapore. As I said, we're a financial services company, so we offer diverse solutions for individuals as well as companies. And we're quite an innovative and creative company. And Dunia Touch, which we're here to talk about today, is our social innovation and CSR program, which we've rolled out, because we really strongly believe that it's very important, sustainability is a key theme, and it's very important to, leave something for generations to come. It's very important to focus on the pressing problems of, poverty, health, environment, and so forth. We're doing this program, it's aimed at individuals and students, programs that provide you with unique life experiences and personal development through working in local communities and emerging markets. So in a way, giving back to the markets while, enhancing your own personal development skills. We're doing this program in partnership with a UK-based company called Gap Guru, which you can see the name here. And they offer a range of programs which they will talk to you about now. I'd like to introduce Arvind Malhotra, who is the Managing Director and CEO of Gap Guru, who will actually do a quick presentation for you. Our plan for today is really, after Arvind does the presentation, that should take about 20 minutes or so, 25 minutes. We do have counselors in the hall who can meet with you and have one-on-one discussions. I'd just like our counselors to all raise your hands, Deepti, Rose, Basil, Kirsten, and myself. You can have chats with any of us, after the sessions. Or you can email us directly. It's duniatouch@dunia.ae. The email is written on the flyers. You can email us if you don't have time to stick around after this. So, Arvind, I'll leave it to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mariam. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Arvind Malhotra, and I'm going to take you away from the world of finance for the next half an hour. So while Dunia Finance is very much into financial services and financial products, we as Gap Guru are very much into working with local communities, working with local organizations, NGOs, and charities around the world. And I'm going to take you into a slightly different world, slightly away from the wonders of Dubai. So to get started, I wanted to talk to you all about the concept of what we are here to sort of discuss. And from that perspective, I have put up the slide, which has a number of different terms and a number of different thoughts in it. But what is it all about? It's about international volunteering. It's about gaining new skills, meeting new people, traveling, independence. It's a world away from what we are normally used to. It's a slightly more exotic world. I have just returned from a trip to Tanzania, and I can certainly tell you that sitting here in Dubai, we just don't get a feel of what the world outside there is all about. But hopefully, I'll try and paint some of that for you today as a picture. We are an international volunteering organization. We offer a wide range of what we call volunteer travel and internship placements really across the world. We try and cover all the continents. So we have Eastern Europe, Latin America, Africa, Asia, Southeast Asia. We cover the range of the world. And our mission is really about trying to excel in providing these responsible overseas assignments that support community development through ethical and sustainable programs. Fundamentally, what we try and do is create opportunities for personal and international development. anyone has sort of been volunteering here? Have any one of you sort of volunteered? Has anyone ventured overseas to volunteer? Anyone? Is it a new concept? No? Well, what we try and do is offer a range of structured programs. So these are programs which involve working with local communities, working with partner projects, partner NGOs that we sort of work hard to identify and select. We work with something like about 100 odd partner projects now around the world. Each one of these projects is carefully assessed by our local teams. So we have teams of people in the countries where we work who are assessing the projects, trying to identify the right opportunities to work with, and then support people as they go through the placements. And this is the map of Gap Guru, or the map of Gap Guru on places where we work. So as you can see, we've got in Asia, we have Cambodia, Nepal, India. We have in Africa, we have Tanzania, and Ecuador in Latin America, and Romania in Eastern Europe. This is the range of destinations where we work. Now, central to our work is really our charity. We have an international development charity called the Future Sense Foundation. The Future Sense Foundation really focuses on three main areas: education, livelihoods, and child welfare. And our agenda is very much about trying to help those who are sort of vulnerable, marginalized people in communities overseas, the poor, and those who really can't have any other source of help. Our approach is very different to most charities. We don't go around the world giving money. And that's one thing which we sort of very much discourage people to do. Our approach is very much about helping communities, working with those communities. It's very much about sort of placing volunteers within those communities to help address issues and maybe also provide them some funds. But these are very small, carefully targeted funds specific to the areas where we work. All the projects where we work are monitored. We have local staff in place who are sort of constantly reviewing those projects and partnerships and looking at how we can actually sort of build that. Looking at education, which is one of the big areas for what we do, and for all of you who sort of are familiar with developing countries and the developing world will be aware that education is one of the biggest areas that needs to be addressed. If you want people to come out of the poverty cycle, you need to enable them to be able to earn more, to be able to get better jobs, and to be able to therefore address the social issues which they are facing. Today, from an education perspective around the world, we reach something like about 15,000 children. And when I say we reach 15,000 children, there would be roughly 15,000 children in these countries and schools where we work who would, in some form or the other, be contacted or have an interaction with a volunteer on one of our placements in a year. And our volunteers are very much sort of working in different situations. They could be in rural scenarios, urban cities, slum schools, NGO schools, wide variety of different projects where what they're trying to do is sort of help people improve the standard of spoken English. And here's a video.
I'm a volunteer here in Tanzania teaching English in Kimanak Primary School. And this is my class, so class, stand up. So hello. I've been volunteering in Kimanak Primary School for 4 months now. It is a government-run school, but in reality, this is not to say that the government offers extensive support or funding. Classes are sometimes as big as 70 to 80 people, and equipment is limited. However, the school is still a very happy place and a great environment for the kids to learn in. The school is at the foothills of Mount Mary and is surrounded by green forest. The school really benefits from volunteers, and in my experience, you really can make a difference, and I have seen improvements in their English. During my teaching, I myself have learned so much from the teachers, the students, and from the huge contrast from home. Volunteering is a great way to immerse yourself into a community and way of life. The people I have met, experiences I've had, challenges I've had to overcome, and places I've seen will never be forgotten.
The owner of Hope Nursery School. In our school, we have 145 kids. 42 of them, they are orphans.
My name is Frederick. I come from Bringa Estate. My school name is Hope English Medium.
I decided to start this nursery school because I saw so many kids at home who were not getting any education.
My name is Rebecca Shayo. I come from at Kwaidi. My school name is Golden Hope School English Medium.
Volunteer can help in various ways, either by teaching the core subject or in more practical ways, such as painting classroom, building and repairing tables and chairs.
My name is Catherine Eric. I come from Sombetin. My school is Hope School English Medium.
At Hope, we provide 2 meals a day and hope to soon be able to also provide medical assistance to support groups for both the parents and the children.
So the other thing which you find is that the teachers themselves don't speak much English. So therefore, if you're looking at English language skills in the school, it is very weak. And volunteers going from English-speaking areas, places where they're confident in English, make a big difference to their lives. Livelihoods is the second theme that I want to talk about. Livelihoods is a very interesting concept. It stemmed from the whole idea of when we were sort of looking at the program and we said, what do we really help people do? And we said it's all about giving them a means for life. And to give you an example, some of the beneficiaries who we talk to in this particular program and under what we do here, they generally would be living on about 50 cents a day. And that's the family income of 50 cents a day and have about 4 or 5 children. So they're barely able to put any food on the table or have any kind of subsistence at all. And through our program, which we give them grants, we provide grants to women to help them set up small businesses. Suddenly you find that they are earning the equivalent of $3 or $4 a day and therefore able to eat food, feed their children, maybe send the children to school and start having a decent life in their standards. So it's not a big thing, something which we don't often think about, but it is something which makes a huge difference to the lives of these people. And our focus in these areas is very much looking for the people who are amongst the poorest of poor, so those who have no means of livelihood at all, and seeing how we can help them really sort of get beyond the day-to-day issues which we have. A lot of what we do here is working with women. So we work with women who are affected with HIV. It may be them or their partners who have had HIV, they've widowed, or are in situations where they just don't have any means of livelihood. And we help them set these little businesses up. And what it always sort of brings home to me is small amounts of money, something about like $100, feeds this family for the rest of their lifetime. Not about feeding them for a day, not about feeding them for a month, but feeds them for their entire lifetime. And it is just an absolutely amazing program that we run. And the beauty of it is that it is run by volunteers. It's run by all our volunteers who would go and select the recipients, train them, provide them the skills, monitor them, mentor them, and help them get started in business. I met some of these women this time when I was in Tanzania, and the stories from them were just far too touching. I mean, it was like, not only were they sort of thanking me for all the help, but they were coming out with stories that now, because our business is doing well, we are able to buy a little bit of kerosene to light the lamp in our house so there is light. And it was about food, and it was about how they sort of are able to live. And they were remembering the volunteers who had sort of come in there and worked with them through that program. So directly or indirectly, in a way, all the people who had been through our Tanzania Livelihoods program, helping either in our office with some of the analysis in terms of the business that they're running, looking at what kind of businesses can be run, how we should structure that program, what kind of training we should provide them, or actually going out and giving the grants and helping them set up the businesses, were all instrumental in getting these people to the stage they were. Child welfare is the third theme where we work. And this is really about sort of working with children who don't have families to support them. So it is children without family support. So it is providing them, looking after orphans, looking after street children, looking at children who are in care homes, and seeing how we can sort of help them have a decent quality of life. And we work across the world in that. We work in Romania. We have a big program where we work with care homes and orphanages. And children in Romania has a big problem of orphans. I don't know how many people are aware of it. But Romania is one of those countries where there are lots and lots of orphan children. And these children grow up their entire life living with foster families or or in these care homes where they get food and they get their basic clothing and they get the shelter, but they have no emotional support at all. And that's exactly what our volunteers then do. They spend time with them, they play games with them, they sort of interact with them, and they get them what I would call quality of life and a real feeling of satisfaction. We've got a video here, which if it comes up, it is, of Romania. Video was done for us by one of our volunteers who actually went there to this project, and the snow looks lovely. It was done in winter. Romania is not always like that. The months of December, January, February are pretty cold and with lots of snow, but summer in Romania is absolutely beautiful. It's a very European kind of feel to the place, but at the same time, what you are doing is you are working with children and communities who really, really need the help. And that's what we do. The other areas where we work very quickly, internship programs. We run medical internship programs now across India, Nepal, Cambodia, and Romania as well. And there are a variety of things which people can do on it, right from sort of community medicine to actually following doctors and shadowing doctors and specialists in gaining medical experience. Here's a little video about a medical program from India that we have.
Watch and learn or get hands-on medical experience. Be a part of a local hospital, charity or practice and discover the challenges faced by a developing country. Gap Guru's medical placements are designed for pre-med and medical students looking for internships on their gap year or for qualified practitioners taking a career break.
Gap Guru's association with our institution, one is a hospital facility, and since its management is private, it's possible for us to permit the volunteers to come into most areas and put them into different levels of training. At the other hospitals, we do get volunteers who are already in medical schools, but there's only so much we can allow them to participate in. But over here, the concepts are different because we're looking at individual skills which they can utilize and maybe take something back and return.
Gap Guru has volunteer opportunities in private and community hospitals where you will be able to observe everything from general practice medicine to the most delicate of operations.
So that was a glimpse of the medical program that we run in India. And people work from community hospitals in Delhi to something like the Fortis Hospital in Delhi, which is state-of-the-art medical facility, providing people exposure, experience, yet opportunity to help, depending on their own time, availability, skills, and interests. So how does this all work? What we try and do is structure programs for people who have a limited amount of time, anything from 2 weeks onwards, and structure programs which give people the opportunity to engage with community projects, engage with NGOs, overseas communities, to be able to give back, and at the same time to be able to learn, to be able to sort of grow by the learning and being in an environment which is different, being in an environment which is challenging, to be able to be in an area which exposes them to different functions in life. Clearly, the community benefits, but there is a huge amount of benefit for the individuals as well. And now, universities, which are becoming much more competitive, work environments, which are becoming far more competitive, are looking for that little bit extra which people have done or are able to distinguish themselves by actually saying, this is what I did, and this is how I actually did it. We find, at least in the West and in the UK, it is a key differentiator after students have actually managed to get their A-level grades and the rest. When they go in for their Oxbridge interviews, it becomes a major differentiator to say that, look, I've also sort of gone to Africa and helped out in a local community setting, because it demonstrates your ability to be able to adapt, an ability to have understood issues, an ability to be able to work in environments which are very different and far more challenging than what you might have grown up in. And the list of benefits clearly there, and it does add a lot to your individual CVs. One of the key reasons or key ways of making sure that you get the benefits is by making sure that the programs are structured, and that's what we do. And that's what the program here with Gap Guru and Dunia Touch is all about. How can you get involved? There are various different programs which I think the counselors today will be able to help you with. There are programs for students looking at summer holiday programs. There are more independent placements for individuals who want to sort of go off on their own and do stuff. There are the whole concept of gap years, taking time out after school and before university, or in the West now, the concept of taking a career break as you sort of move between jobs and different careers is a fast-growing kind of concept. Summer holiday programs range from 2 weeks upwards, 2, 3, and 4 weeks. These are very structured. We tend to sort of make sure that they are adapted to the younger market So more aimed at the students who are still at school, wanting to use the summer holidays to gain that extra bit of experience. We try and put together the opportunity to learn more about the destination you're visiting, take in some of the local sites and areas. And it's a fully supported program with our local coordinators, country managers, program managers in country, helping the students in being able to get the most from their time there. The independent placements are clearly for those who are a little bit more confident traveling themselves, but offer the same kind of range of opportunities and then offer an opportunity to engage a little more with the community. So what next? Well, I think it's a good opportunity if there is something here that sort of you like the sound of, to sit down with one of the counselors and talk a little bit more about it, to get an understanding of what are the kind of things that you could be possibly doing, what are your own interests, and matching that with what program would fit your profile, put together a personalized program, complete some forms, and you're off and ready to go. So that's me, and very happy to answer any questions before you sort of move off to talk to any counselors. So if there are any questions, please feel free. Anyone? Anything?
What do you do for the stay of the volunteers?
Depending on the volunteers, how long they're going for, we have a number of different options in terms of accommodation. The more independent volunteers generally like to stay with local families, and we have panels of selected homestays in every area that we work. For the students, we have our own volunteer house, or we take over a place like a small guest house where they actually stay as part of a group. It would generally be in an area which we have selected and supervised by our local staff and local country managers. So it varies very much depending upon what people are looking for and how much hardship they can withstand. Some of the homestays in Tanzania are rough to live in if you are not used to it. And therefore, sometimes people prefer to actually be in a little bit more comfortable guest house style accommodation or in one of our volunteer houses.
What's the minimum age you would take a child at?
We are looking at students from 15 onwards. Clearly, it depends upon different programs. So something like the summer holiday program where students go more as a group, students as young as 15 can actually go across in their summer holidays, whereas for the independent travel, we would suggest that the age group of children is at least 16, 17, possibly as they sort of finish school or in the last couple of years of school and thereupon.
How many batches of students have gone on the summer holiday program so far?
I didn't mention it, Gap Guru has been operational since 2005. And therefore, over this period, we would have sent something like about 3,000 students across various parts and various programs. So while we are new here to the UAE, summer holiday programs are becoming a huge thing now in the West, with everyone wanting to use the summer holidays to gain more experience and just differentiate themselves from the crowd. Anything else anyone has as a...
What kind of organizations do you have in those countries?
Pardon?
What kind of organizations do you have in those countries?
In every country where we work, we would have a local country manager, at least. In some places, we would have more than one, depending upon the complexity and the size of the program. We then would have, in every hub as we sort of define it, so for example, in India, we work in Delhi, Bangalore, and Kalimpong. In every hub, we will have about 6 or 7 selected partners, and we would have 6 or 7 different homestay family members who are part of the panel that we have in that particular country. In some places, we have our own office. In some places, we might have a volunteer house, which has its own facilities and stuff. So it very much differentiates and differs between places. But at the least, we will have one country manager or a program manager in that place. He is in regular touch. He or she would be in regular touch with the volunteers right from the time they arrive. So from the time volunteers arrive in the local airport, they're sort of met, received, picked up, taken to the accommodation where they're going to be staying. They then have an induction and orientation kind of session to get them familiar with what are the cultural things, do's and don'ts, what is life in that country all about, some language tips for people who are may not be familiar. So if you're going off to Tanzania, a little bit of Swahili keywords is always useful. If you're going to Romania, a little bit of Hungarian. The area where we work is Hungarian speaking, Nepalese in Nepal. So we do a little bit of that and introduce them to the program, introduce them to the partner projects, and then they would be sort of meeting the local country manager on a regular basis, talking to them maybe on a daily basis for the first week, and after some time then they are sort of on their own rhythm and they don't want to sort of necessarily need that support. So we are very much there for people when they need us, supporting them through the first few weeks as they sort of settle in, and then sort of giving them space to be able to grow and gain from the experience. The projects we've identified for summer this year are across destinations, and so we have projects in Romania, Tanzania, India, Cambodia, and Nepal, and they range from sort of teaching at little primary schools, working at the care homes in Romania, or even working on our grants program that I spoke about, the HIV grants program, by supporting it from a way of sort of analysis and other areas depending upon the needs. So it's a whole range of programs across the destinations that we have set up, varying from 2 weeks to 4 weeks. So it really sort of, you can pick and choose, and you can say, I want to do 2 weeks or I want to do 3 weeks, and I would like to do a new country like, say, Tanzania, or I want to do Romania, and you can sort of pick and choose from there.
Would you tailor-make a program if, for instance, language? If a student wanted to go out and perfect their language skill, would you be able to tailor-make it for that specific? Would there be language schools, or would they stay with a local family? Would you do something like that?
Yes, in almost all situations, we have the opportunity and option for people to stay with a local family and therefore pick up the local language. The one place where we do more in terms of actually sort of helping with language schools, etc., is Ecuador, where Spanish is the spoken language. And that's quite a popular language for people wanting to learn and perfect Spanish. So we try and, so anyone going to Ecuador, if their Spanish needs to be improved, we sort of work out with the local Spanish school for them to actually have maybe first couple of weeks intensive Spanish lessons before they actually get involved with the school and with the project which they might be working with. We normally say that you should at least plan it 8 weeks before. But in today's dynamic world, we've had people coming into us 2 or 3 weeks before saying, look, I think I might have left it too late. Can I still join a program? And it then depends on where there is availability. So the later you leave it, it becomes more about where availability exists and what you can do. So you limit your options. But certainly we can find things for people even in fairly short notice.
Do you have an idea of what kind of finance we are talking about?
In terms of the costs? I think we have the cost figures there, but it varies again a lot by destination and duration. So I don't want to hazard a guess by giving a figure, but we would have the cost figures here, so if you want, we can sort of give those figures to you. In each area? It isn't a set number on each area. The size and scale of the program in each of our hubs varies considerably. Something like the Romania program, which is actually quite an interestingly small program for us, becomes very busy over summer. Because first of all, from the UK, Europe is so much easier to access. Flight costs are low, and therefore a lot of people want to go off to Europe. We suddenly find we have something like 60 or 70 people at any point in time over the summer months. But then through the year, we might have only 5 people in there in the month. So winter months, for example, where the video was taken, the girl who had gone there, Vicky, she was there with another volunteer, and there were just the two of them. So they actually thought it was fantastic because they had the full attention of all the children, and they were really able to get quality time with them. But we work with something like now 20 different care homes in a place like Romania. So in a care home, at any point in time, we will never have more than 2 volunteers because it starts crowding the children otherwise. Unless we are sort of organizing a special activity like a summer camp for the kids. Then we will sort of get a group of volunteers together and get the children from maybe 5 or 6 homes to come there together, and then the volunteers run the activities for them, which we very often do over the summer period. So it really varies. But you will always, summer periods are busy for us, so you'll always have people around in each of the places. Any other questions?
I'm sure you've been asked this question several times. I have a 15-year-old and I'd like to send him to a place like Tanzania, more for his own benefit, more for his own learning and life skills that he can learn. How confident can we be as parents sitting in Dubai, making sure that your ward is taken care of? What kind of issues do you actually come across, and how do you deal with them?
Well, the biggest concern as a parent is generally on safety. And I think that is for all of us who are parents always been the #1 priority, that is my child safe? And therefore the emphasis that we place on a lot of what we do is on safety. So we choose locations, we choose the places where people will be staying, the environment where they will be staying, the working, etc., based on that safety criteria as being absolutely paramount. Now, when we have younger children going out who might be sort of 15, would be probably at the lower end of what we actually have going out on our programs, we actually take that to another level. So something like the country manager would possibly come across himself or herself to be at the airport to pick them up and take them across to where they are staying. Now, with a 15-year-old going to Tanzania, I would generally say it's much better to do it as something like a summer holiday program where you have a group of them. So if you have a group of, say, 15, 16, 17-year-olds, and they're all staying together, they again have that opportunity to bond with the others, and they have that support. So they are a little bit more supported in their entire program and don't feel alone. But all our programs are constantly assessed from a safety perspective, constantly checked, and that's absolutely top of mind. Operating in the UK, health and safety is absolutely our top priority. We had our son go across to a program because he said he wanted to take a gap year. So we said, now where do we let him go? I mean, you have the usual parent issues. And he went off to Nepal. He didn't find it easy, but he was safe. He was safe. And I think we sacrifice comfort for them sometimes in lieu of safety. So if we sort of, if we have someone who is younger and going on an independent program, we will generally put them with a family, because then they have the safety and security of the family network around them. And they may not like it, but then that's, at least as parents, we are all sure, and as an organization, as a company, we are also comfortable that they're safe. And that's for us the most important. I think anyone who goes on our programs has to have a complete, full, comprehensive insurance. And that should also allow for volunteering as what they're going to be doing. So it's not just a holiday insurance, but it's an insurance which also includes volunteering as the activity which they will be doing. And the insurance is more for a medical emergency kind of scenario, which is where it really comes in handy. It comes in handy in 2 areas. One is if they lose their possessions, which a lot of students are prone to do. They could leave their camera somewhere, have left their iPod somewhere, or anything else. So there is the insurance from the asset that they might be carrying. And the second is health. If there is any situation where they sort of fall ill or they get a bug or something, you want to have the insurance so that they can be either airlifted out or be into a place very quickly, which provides the necessary medical support. Any other questions? Yes? Hi, Shannon.
I'm not sure if you had this question yet, but what program would you suggest for children to do with their parents? Say, for argument's sake, a family want to go together for 2 weeks. What program would you think is best suited for a family to do this kind of work?
Families as a group can do a range of programs. And generally what we would say is it's better to sort of customize a program for a family so we can take into interest for the parents and for the children. Let me give you an example. We've just put together a program for a family in the UK who both the husband and wife are dentists, and that they have teenage daughters, and they said, what can we do? And we sort of went through a process of asking them what kind of things they like doing, what are the kind of things that interest them, and we've actually set up a program for them in Nepal where both the parents are going to be involved running dental camps in rural Nepal with one of our projects, whereas the girls are going to be working at a local school for the period that they are there, and then all 4 of them are going trekking in the Himalayas over a period of 1 week with some whitewater rafting and a bit of a holiday and a bit of taking in of the place. So it's a program which we put together for the family based upon their interests and using what we have as project partners and understanding the needs that exist around the world. So they bring a variety of skills, so it can be adapted into every country and every situation. Any other questions? Super. Thank you very much all for listening. I hope I didn't put you all to sleep, but it has been really enjoyable coming here to the UAE and Dubai and talking to all of you, and hope to see a lot of you on our program soon. Thank you very much.